Welcome back to KUJH. We are joined with Jackie Polsky, who is live from the Douglas County Democratic Watch Party.
Thanks, guys. We are here still at the Democratic Party, Watch Party, here on 10th and New Hampshire. We're having a great time here, talking to a lot of faces, very enthusiastic. As you can see behind me, the crowd has built on a lot tonight. We've seen a lot of the big reactions to big states like New York, and we're also seeing a lot of the battleground states kind of start to form a little more and more. So it's going to be really exciting as the night goes on. We're seeing a lot of the states on the West Coast and Western area start to have a little more progress in their voting counts, but a little bit of confusion happening in Nevada. So we're going to wait to see what happens there. But until then, we're going to stick around and kind of see what goes on here. It'll be a good time. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jack. We are now given another update on the numbers from Matthew.
All right, we've got some more local results for you guys. At the Douglas County Commission, all 5 Democrats are currently in the lead with more than 10 points between them and their opponent. Hopefully we'll be able to call that race soon, and hopefully those vote counts will finish up so we can bring you some more results. In Douglas County District Attorney race, Dakota Loomis is currently leading his opponent, Mike Warner, 66-33. Again, this was expected, as we said at the beginning of the night. Douglas County has not elected a Republican to a post in about 30 years. In Kansas, for the presidential race, unfortunately, Donald Trump has taken the lead against Kamala Harris. 47-51. In Kansas 3. Sharice Davids is currently in the lead, 55-40, and as usual, let's give you a general picture of what the presidential race looks like overall. Right now, our swing states, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Wisconsin, Minnesota, are still at play. Kansas as well has not been called yet. Again, we'll keep an eye on this as the night goes on. Back to you guys in the studio.
We check in once again with Colton Kennan with another update from the Republican Watch Party.
We are coming up on hour 2 of the College Republicans Watch Party at the University of Kansas. We are in Summerfield Hall. I'm with Garrett Myrick. He's the vice president of this organization. Garrett, what's kind of the motive for this watch party, and can you tell me a little bit about the organization?
So thanks for having me. And so the motive around this, we just wanted to host a watch party and get some people on campus to come. We have around 15 people here so far. It's been a fun night. So yeah. College Republicans, and Turning Point. So I'll start off with Turning Point. So Turning Point, we're an organization that promotes free speech for just anybody, not really technically affiliated with a political party, but you could maybe say we're more right-leaning. But we promote free speech, whether you're Republican, Democrat. We just want people to be heard in that sense. And then we are also kind of combined with the College Republicans, since pretty much everybody in both are pretty much, in the same ballpark there. So, we consolidated there. So we do have some level of connection with the state GOP. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you and I were talking just a second ago. It is a little too early to know, but we just saw some of the next wave polls come in. How are you thinking the night's going so far for the Republican Party?
So, I think it looks good so far. It's still too early to call. I would say it's looking a lot like 2016 probably, but anything could happen. It's close. In Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, those blue wall states, the Rust Belt, will probably decide the election. So I think North Carolina and Georgia are starting to maybe tilt red a little bit. So, yeah, it's looking good so far. So.
Sweet. Well, thank you, Gary. We'll be back at 10 p.m. for another update right here. The watch party does end at 10 p.m., but we'll be back with more results, and we'll go ahead and send it back to the studio.
Thank you for the update, Colton. This election has been filled with celebrity endorsements for both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, with personalities such as Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, and Dana White backing Trump, and Oprah Winfrey, Mick Jagger, and Viola Davis giving their nod to Harris.
This all raises the question, how impactful are these endorsements actually when it comes to swinging votes? KUJH's Charlie Ann Ortiz tells us more.
Election day is approaching and stars have been taking sides. But do celebrity endorsements truly affect people's opinions? Let's start with what the word means. Endorsement is giving one's public approval or support of someone or something. The history of celebrity endorsements in politics goes back decades, but one of the most iconic examples was back in 2008 when Oprah Winfrey endorsed Barack Obama. The University of Maryland calculated that Winfrey's endorsement was responsible for approximately 1 million additional votes for Obama. So the question still remains, how effective are these endorsements? This year is no different. We are seeing many stars getting involved. Artists like Taylor Swift, Chappell Roan, Billie Eilish, Cardi B, Kid Rock, and many more have all taken public stances. Even tech mogul Elon Musk has weighed in on the political scene. Taylor Swift is once again making the headlines. After endorsing Kamala Harris, reports show that over 400,000 people visited vote.gov from her link in just 24 hours. On the other hand, Elon Musk is giving away $1 million a day to registered swing state voters who have signed his campaign. The reach of endorsements is undeniable, but what is the true effect? I went to the streets of Jayhawk Boulevard to ask students if a celebrity endorsement would affect their opinion.
I think that celebrity endorsement is a valuable tool, especially to, highlight and platform different issues and topics, but I do not think that it's a main driving factor.
I think at this point, maybe at first, celebrity endorsements did affect my opinion, but now that they're so common, it just kind of feels like not that important. Like they're getting paid to say it now, so now it doesn't really affect anything.
I think it would, honestly, especially if it's a celebrity I respect or really know for a long time. I think if I have a strong opinion about it, that would change my strong opinion about that.
They don't live the same life as me, so it doesn't really affect me what they think.
Generally not really. I kind of just do whatever I think is right.
I think we should have more celebrities getting involved with politics, telling people, hey, do your research, get involved, do what makes you happy. That would probably be beneficial to society, but celebrity endorsements do have a huge impact.
Social media, however, is where these endorsements are having a huge impact. Posts from stars can reach millions of people within hours. Engagement levels show just how much of a platform celebrities have in today's political election. It is clear that celebrity endorsements can bring attention to candidates and causes, but in the end, the decision lies with the voters. Whether you follow your favorite celebrity's lead or stick to your own opinion, it is most important that you're educated and that your voice is heard.
Thanks, Charlie Ann. The importance of celebrity endorsements seems to have more influence than ever.
Definitely, and one Lawrence native here used his agriculture to make a political statement this election season, and all hands were on dirt to encourage people to get out and vote. KUJH reporter Sydney Clark spoke with a local earthworks artist about using nature to express his political beliefs.
It all starts in his studio, putting pen to paper. Then he goes to nature's canvas.
I always find an image that I like. I like this one because it's not a big smile, but it's uplifting. She's looking up with, hope, and I think it reveals her strength and her stamina and her beauty and her intelligence and all of that. It shows this, and then I simply do a posterization, and then I start drawing on it, making it my own. And by the time I get out here, I feel like I own the image a bit.
Stan Hurd has been creating earthwork pieces for over 4 decades now. Instead of using a sticker or a yard sign to express political beliefs, he uses sand, grass, compost, and land as his material for his work. His recent piece of Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz caught eyes this election season, but it was a gamble for him. He started working on this piece only 10 days before she announced her run for office.
We felt like that was an inevitability, and so we gambled that we would create this portrait and that it would all come to fruition. When it did, it kind of made us look smart for about 3 minutes. If it hadn't happened, nobody would have known about it, so it wouldn't matter.
Hurd completed the other half of the piece with Governor Tim Walz shortly after Vice President Harris announced him as her running mate.
Welcome to Good Morning Indian Country's Election Night. I'm Allison Levering.
And I'm Shia Blackcloud. The Good Morning Indian Country team has been following Election Night across Indian Country, and several Native media outlets are covering key races of interest to Native people.
At this hour, Indian Country Today's live broadcast, Native Vote 2024 Election Night Live, is wrapping up its live coverage. To follow ICT's election coverage, visit ict.org/politics. There you can find the 2024 results dashboard charting key races across the country, as well as the ICT ANPL candidate database, which will chart nearly 180 candidates who are on the ballots nationwide.
Good Morning Indian Country's own Jacob Curtis is assisting with his coverage at a watch party for Sharice Davids, who is seeking the re-election to Congress from the Kansas 3rd District.
9 Indigenous candidates are running for seats in the U.S. House of Representatives this election cycle, including 4 incumbents: Josh Brasheen, Tom Cole, Sharice Davids, and Mary Patola. Former Navajo Nation President Jonathan Nez is also running a tight race to be the first Native American person to represent Arizona in Congress.
4 years ago, a national news channel called Native American voters something else during a live broadcast. One presidential election later, Vice President Kamala Harris is pledging her support for tribal sovereignty and self-determination in an effort to win Native voters in Arizona, even as U.S. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen Cherokee traveled to Arizona, Nevada, and North Carolina to ask Native voters to cast their ballots for former President Donald Trump.
According to Judith LeBlanc, Executive Director of Native Organizations Alliance and Action Fund, the Native vote is receiving more attention this election cycle because it made such a difference in so many states the last presidential election and may hold the balance of the outcome in several states in this election.
That is why the Kansas City Indian Center has worked so hard to encourage Native voters in our area to register to vote and show up at the polls. KCIC partnered with the Indian National Urban Indian Family Coalition's Democracy is Indigenous project. You can learn more about their work on their website, nuifc.org.
We want to thank the Kansas City Indian Center for partnering with us to bring you stories and updates on election night and throughout the year, sharing our stories about their work. And we want to thank them for our powerful Indigenous is Democracy t-shirts, as we represent our Native sovereignty and self-determination in the newsroom.
Representing the Meskwaki Nation in Tama, Iowa, and
the Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska and the Omaha Tribe of Nebraska.
We will be back with more election news from Indian Country in the next hour. Back to you, Cameron.
Thanks, Allison and Shaya. That's all we have for now.
KUJH News will be back at 10 p.m.